Welcome to Curtis Goes Corner, coming to you from a secret underground base in occupied America. Welcome back. Well, could the unthinkable happen? For that bogus charges in New York City, supposedly business fraud, which is BS, and it was proven not to be true, Trump was convicted anyway. Supposedly the judge in September is going to give the final sentence, and whether he'll be put in jail immediately or he'll be on, let's call it probation or bail, until his appeal is heard, which he'll win easily. There's no higher court in this state, in New York where I live, or anywhere else for that matter, that wants to go on the record to say that this is legitimate. So that's a given. We're going to see. Now, this is a small clip, and I'm going to comment along the way from Timcast concerning this very subject. And it's interesting what they say. Let's listen.
He's a contractor. He's a philanthropist.
CIA
whistleblower. Is that what he says? CIA, NSA contractor, whistleblower, intel ops.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's probably got some sources, but it is all rumors right now. Yeah. However, Hannah Claire made a good point. Kamala's not committing to any dates past September 10th for a debate because she maybe knows something Trump doesn't.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
There you go. I mean, that's a massive wrench in this whole thing. If he's literally I don't think my brain can actually process the idea that.
I think it'd be really hard to wrap your mind around that in one summer somebody shot him while on stage at a rally and then they sent him to prison.
Sure.
That's really crazy optics. But also when Trump has these kind of momentous legal moments, I think back to the Atlanta mugshot release, support for Trump surges. And so I think it would be more about ego if there was, a judge or someone who was like, no, we have to send Trump to prison. They are no longer playing the long game at that point, because you can still run for president from prison, or at least for federal office.
So if he goes to prison, he gets elected, he wins on November 5th. Do they bring cameras into the prison?
I have to say, I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, let's tell the truth here. This judge, his daughter, has made millions of dollars off the Biden and now Kamala Harris campaigns and off the DNC for doing video work for them. She gets a certain percent of places where she places the ads. It's very common. Made millions, and everybody knows it. But this judge will get reelected if he decides not to retire and write his book. He'll always get reelected. We're in Manhattan, of all places. Come on. What do you think? This thing was preset. And to all you legal experts out there, or people that think you are, if you were Trump's attorney, you'd be screaming to high heaven. And so would every other news network in the world if this was a liberal Democrat and running for public office as the former president of the United States. You'd be screaming. Guess it was Obama. They did it at the end of his first term. This is election interference, plain and simple. They're going to want to have the judge have his ruling on how long in prison and where he it's going to be house arrest or out on bail until his appeal is gone through. This is election interference. And the Trump people, of course, want the ruling from the judge on this after the election, because this is about election interference. Always has been. But like she said, they were playing the long game. Well, there's no more long game to play. We got less than 90 days. And depending on who you talk to in the polling, it's basically neck and neck in a lot of the states, especially the swing states. And Pennsylvania is a dead heat right now. Now, they may have some internal polling, the Dems and the Republicans, that shows something much different. We'll have to see. This is election interference, period.
Is he just sleeping?
The state's going to argue.
Watching on his little
They're going to say it doesn't matter if he's president. He's still in prison at the state level.
So can he pardon himself?
Not at the state level.
So then what? Just the first 8 months of his term is just he's incarcerated?
Would he need Hochul, governor of New York, to
I
pardon
think
him?
He's not going to do that.
I got to be honest. If it were me, and I was sentenced, and we know these charges are nonsense. They're psychotic. I would just instruct the Secret Service to open the doors.
What are you going to do? Will he take a hit in the polls if he literally goes to jail? Probably. And that's what they're counting on. For some reason, they are scared to death. Well, we know the reason. Shouldn't say some. They're scared to death of Donald Trump. Not because he's a lunatic, and not because he'll start wars, and not because he'll crash the economy and preempt to World War III. Biden did all that. So let's tell the truth here. Just pulling out of Afghanistan, the list is endless. What this genius, I should say, is people around him who are really president think. This is insane, absolutely insane. I think Tim has a really good point here later concerning the U.S. military. Let's listen on.
I don't think the Secret Service has that. They would have to instruct the actual guards of the prison. Like, I think the Secret Service is essentially
like a jurisdiction question.
Yeah, well, they can't just open up the jails. I assume they're just there to protect him from other prisoners while the COs do their job.
But a lot of time, state agencies, like when, the FBI or some other federal law enforcement agency comes in, they're like, okay, we defer to you. Like, does that work for the Secret Service as well? I don't know.
Like,
different bureau
entirely. Guys, if I was the president and New York locked me up, if I was in jail and then I got elected and they said, you're the president now, and they said, it doesn't matter, you're not leaving, I'd be like, okay, send in the Army, Insurrection Act.
Exactly right. But he'd already been incarcerated for several months before he's sworn in as president. You're sworn in on January 20th. I remember that date because it's my ex's birthday. Anyway, yeah, it's this is crazy. He'll take a hit if he's incarcerated. Maybe it's a big enough hit, 2 or 3 points in certain states, to have Harris win. Now, my personal opinion is Supreme Court will have to step in. They'll have to. This is one of their main functions for things like this. When injustice is done and laws have been broken, which the state of New York has, this is Bragg, remember him? Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. And she's right, though, about the mugshot. He did go up in popularity, but being physically incarcerated is something else. Or if the judge says, appear at Rikers Island on October 1st, and Trump says, F you, and has a Secret Service surrounding him, will they protect him? Say he's in Mar-a-Lago, he's not in New York State. Say he's in another state. He has no business in New York anyway. He's nothing there for him to campaign on or anything he personally owns, except for Trump Tower, of course. But he's got plenty of places to live. Mar-a-Lago is his address now, his residency. And tells the Secret Service, hey, I don't care. It used to be, people don't know this, just until a few years ago, during when the Department of Homeland Security was put together, the Secret Service is under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Treasury, not Homeland Security. And as we all know, the head of Homeland Security is, wait for it, Mayorkas, who's the biggest piece of crap they probably have in Washington. That's an incredibly high bar. Are they going to shoot it out with the Secret Service? They try to extradite him? If I were Trump, I would say F you. I'm supposed to appear on this day to do my sentence. I say, I'm not doing it. Kiss my ass. Yeah, I don't know what will happen. How many Secret Service people are in bed with these progressives or anti-Trump people, or I should say pro-intelligence service people? We're going to find out really quick. But I go back to the original question. Why are they so scared of him? That dude do anything literally, as we can see. And we saw in Pennsylvania when he got shot, what some people are willing to go to get rid of him. Because they're scared to death he's going to expose them all. The intelligence services, the CIA, the FBI, and all the other alphabet soup, even the Pentagon, and right down the list. Right down the list. Remember, he can't run again. So he can legally do whatever he wants.
Like, there's no question. They're not going to keep the president of the United States in a state jail. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And also, when
will they keep him at least up into the, how many days after the election?
I think they'll lock him
go
up.
Shawshank style.
I
What if
heard a
Trump
lot of people
escapes?
saying house arrest, like because he's too complicated to keep in prison. You can't actually do that, but that would still take him off the
If Trump
chain.
has an ankle monitor, I'm going to lose my mind.
I thought house arrest,
There were so
but
many
Brandon
votes.
Strzok made a better point. He said, "Why stop? Why would anyone make? He's like, why would you make the argument that they're going to be tempered now when they've been going as hard as possible nonstop the whole time?" And I'm like, yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's right. They've been going hard, hard, hard. And Trump has defended himself pretty well up until now. This is historical stuff. And I say historical, I can't think of any crisis to the Constitution besides the Civil War and the separation of the country that this is. This is a threat to the Constitution of the United States and the rule of law, both. Because if they get him in jail during an election cycle, then the rules are gone. There is no country anymore. So what's going to happen is we're going to get a Republican jurisdiction is going to go after somebody running for the U.S. Senate who's a Democrat and gets a jury that's rigged and fixed. Yeah, that's next. Well, if the Republicans grew a backbone, we're better than those people, so we don't lower ourselves to their tactics. Yeah, you do. This is political war. Nobody cares about the rules anymore. That's the problem.
They want him in a jumpsuit.
They went the hardest possible about a month ago in Butler.
Who is they though?
I don't know.
Head trap.
No idea.
Isn't it weird though that the last? I hate to steal
The
that. word
people
now.
who hate Trump.
Correct.
But that's how I describe it. Like the people who hate Trump, they hate him so much that one of them tried to kill Donald Trump. We don't know how it happened, how he was let in. There's new photos of
Still
him.
don't know anything.
There's a photo of him walking around with the gun. There's a photo that came out showing him walking around early with the gun, and like nobody stopped him, nobody said anything.
Crazy,
I don't
huh?
buy it.
We're waiting for the classic FBI.
Yeah, and it's been what, a month, and we just don't know anything.
But
huh?
So there it is, folks. Will Trump go to jail for a year? That's the minimum charge, I guess, for this so-called felony, which it isn't. It's all BS. All of it is. And as one of the guys on Shark Tank said, every single real estate developer is now going to not go to New York anymore. Because who's next? And Hochul came out, the New York State governor, and said, don't worry, investors, don't worry, developers. This is only a one-off, which means they targeted somebody, which also is against the law. Whereas we're going to charge this person with this law that we made up, but we're not going to charge anybody else who does it. Well, that in itself is enough to throw out the case, but there's tons of stuff that wouldn't be allowed. I'd go into detail, but, you know, most of you already know already. So do they have the balls to put him in jail? Even have house arrest? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how desperate they are, and they are desperate. And if they're this desperate, they must have internal polling showing that they're going to lose. It's that simple. Is Trump going to get retribution if he wins? Probably, but legal retribution. Nothing illegal or unlawful, unlike what these guys are doing. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.